Also, it's past 21 now, right? So let's go outside, go to the apartment building, and talk to the smoker, shall we? Ah, there he is. There he is. Let's talk to him. I wonder how many packs of cigarettes he goes through every day.
Gendarmerie, you found me.
The young man on the balcony gives you a bright smile before taking another drag from his cigarette.
His slender figure is backlit by city lights, its distant streets and motorways flashing like diamonds. And his shirt is still unbuttoned.
Yes, the cleaning lady let us in.
Beautiful.
He replies, smiling as he looks at you. Something sparkles in his eyes.
So tell me, are you here to make things right again?
That's what I'm aiming for, yes. Honestly, I'm just trying not to screw anything up. I'm not going to make things just right. I'm going to make things spectacular. Or ignore the question. I was hoping to talk to a possible witness. Your balcony overlooks the murder scene. Let's say that's what I'm aiming for. Yes.
Beautiful.
He says again. A nearby street lamp casts shadow on his chin, drawing out the slender cheekbones.
I have some good news for you. My Sunday friend is visiting me tonight. I told him about you and he'd like to say hello. Step in. He's already waiting.
By the way, I'm really digging the view here that's pointing at the city skyline. Why would I want to meet your friend? Or, very well, I'll talk to him. But first, I want to talk to you. I have so many questions. Okay, first of all, let's take it from the top again.
Mm-hmm. That's why I chose this place. Martinez is special, isn't it?
Wait. Suddenly you're digging things?
The lieutenant whispers to you, shaking his head. Why would I want to meet your friend?
Trust me, you do.
Very well, I'll talk to him, but first I want to talk to you. I have so many questions.
That's nice, but I don't have anything to tell you. It's my friend you're looking for, not me.
He takes another drag of his unfiltered cigarette and looks around. It's getting dark and the neighboring windows have lit up one by one. Downstairs, a cat crosses the yard, disappearing into the bush.
Very cute.
Besides, I've got to run.
Again?
Something tells you you're never going to talk to an individual this cool or mysterious ever again.
Probably, yeah. Run where?
To the city.
He gestures.
Night.
Oh. Sure
And
is.
then, on high heels, stumbles out of a basement club, music blasting over the entire district. It's chilly, and as the chemicals hit his nervous system, 1,000 shivers ripple through his body.
Only if you promise that we'll talk again, it's important.
Something flutters in the corner of the lieutenant's mouth as you're saying those words.
We'll talk. Just not tonight. Take care, alright?
Task complete, level up. New task, the Sunday friend. Take care, right, he says with another disarming smile before slipping off into the night.
And he's gone again. Looks like it's becoming a theme for him.
He's always leaving. Why is he always leaving, Kim?
Who knows, detective? It's a mystery.
He says, turning his face away from you. There's something so different about him that I just can't put my fingers on.
Different, of course.
His shirt. Why is his shirt always unbuttoned?
His shirt.
The lieutenant squints his eyes, trying to hold back laughter. His shirt.
His shirt.
He's trying to dive deep into the mysteries of his shirt.
His shirt? No, I don't know why his shirt is always unbuttoned.
His mouth tightens, as though trying to hold something back.
He's barely holding it together. It's all he can do to keep from bursting out in laughter.
Come on, detective, let's go. We've got a potential witness to interview. His Sunday friend, remember?
He nods at the apartment door before you. Let's head inside. Okay. Alright, we got that. Alright, the next lowest one is 4. Well, the next lowest upgradable one. Drama has not been that helpful recently, I think. Composure, reaction speed, hand-eye coordination. I think either composure or reaction speed. I think I'm going to go with composure. Sure. Let's go with that. Perfect. Now let's accept the changes and close. What do we have here? A quarterly business magazine. What's here? There's a Party Dragons silk robe, +1 drama, +1 electrochemistry. Sure, let's take it. An old photo of the same apartment dated a year 01. If stability is... Didn't catch it in time, sorry. Expensive men's perfume lingers in the air. In a wider sense, this is actually my apartment and yours. Okay. Buckets of paint on a layer of old newspaper. Transparency has always been our highest priority. An exquisite canopy bed made of metal. What's down there? There's a Samaran conical head, +1 logic, -1 suggestion. Okay, and back here. Dishes soak up in a pot. An empty ashtray. We have a fridge, flyers for underground parties, dates for open lectures at a local university. Anything else we can interact with? A politician is never off the clock, okay. Are you a politician then?
Officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia.
The man in business casual removes his cufflinks.
His hands are clean and well manicured. This is a man who knows the importance of appearances.
My name is Charles Vildrouin, and I am an official with the coalition government. I work for the Institute of Price Stabilité on assignment from Sur-la-Clé. I heard you talking to my friend outside. Very good. Super. I am here to assist you in any way possible. Ask me about the hanging.
Hanging? What a drag. He seems like a cultured gentleman. You should ask him about the finer things.
Point at the bed before we go on. I absolutely have to inquire about this wonderful canopy, the silk robe. Before we get to that, tell me where you got this beautiful silk robe from, the Samaran hat. We'll get to that right after you tell me the story behind the black Samaran hat. Or, hello, Mr. Vildrouin. Let's get started. Let's just take it from the top.
Oh yes, my friend has a great eye for these things. He refuses to tell me where it came from. It's a mystery. I believe they call this type of frame industrial. It's very comfy. That's really all I can tell you about it.
He forms a little rooftop with his fingers. Cold air sweeps in from the balcony.
The lieutenant takes out his notebook and nods to you to proceed.
What's an official like you doing in Martinez?
The coalition is only looking out for the price stabilité. Inflation is a killer, like a heart disease blocking the normal circulation of the economy. It must be controlled. The economy impacts the entire international community, which is why it requires international oversight.
Okay, but what are you doing here in this apartment?
Well, I'm renovating it. It is an interesting project. The building used to be a 12-story skyscraper before the cannons took the top 4 stories off. This, of course, happened when the coalition forces landed here. You could say I'm undoing some of the material damage the international community caused when we arrived here.
So you're some kind of bureaucrat?
Yes, as I said before, I am a commissioner from Sur-la-Clé working for the Institute of Price Stabilité. This is one of the main projects of the Moral Inter.
Wait, there isn't actually an Institute of Price Stability, is there? Or maybe there is. God, it's impossible to understand whether someone from the moral intern is joking or not.
What is this international community?
La communauté internationale is what Revacholians colloquially call the coalition. In other words, the nations that stopped the disaster of the revolution.
What is the Preisstabilität?
It is the most important thing.
That doesn't tell me anything.
It's the central goal of any sound monetary policy. Maintaining the price stability is essential to maintaining high levels of economic activity, which is essential for maintaining high levels of employment, which is essential for maintaining the social stability.
Basically, it makes sure the price of bread doesn't change.
Précisément. Too much inflation, bread becomes too expensive. Too much deflation, it becomes too cheap for bakers to produce. That's why the Institute of Price Stability works to keep inflation just below 2%.
Below 2% of what?
But not too far below, no. Too below is also bad. Below, but close to 2%.
You're not answering my questions at all.
The coalition believes in the importance of informing the public about the benefits of the price stability. Transparency is one of our principles. Would you like an informational pamphlet?
We'll take it, I guess. Sure.
A sound monetary policy is essential for addressing uncertainty. Stability is the raison d'être of the moral intern. It's the reason why I identify as a moralist. But oh, I don't have my leaflets on me today. That's too bad. You can always call our information line. Making information available is part of the moral intern's commitment to transparency.
Finances, I tell you. My eyes glaze over whenever I have to read a letter about finances or anything like that. Man, that stuff just bores me to tears. Like, finances is really the thing I want to be the least involved in. Overall, just in general, that stuff just drains my energy like nothing else. I've heard about this moral intern before, but I want to know more.
It's the International Organization for Moralists, hence Moralist International. The Institute of Price Stability is just one of its many mind babies, as is the coalition.
Let's turn to Kim. So when I said I was a lackey of capital, what I should have said is that I'm a moral intern bitch. Ooh, turn to Kim. So we're actually working for the moral intern. That doesn't seem so bad. I'll go with the first one.
Doing one's job doesn't automatically make one anyone's bitch. Besides, there are more nefarious powers to work for than the moral intern.
Are you a moralist?
But of course.
But why?
Because moralists believe in a normal, stable world governed by democratic values.
Turn to Kim. Lieutenant, are you a moralist?
Me?
You've managed to catch the lieutenant off guard, but only for a moment. He quickly recomposes himself.
I'm a lieutenant of the RCM, dedicated to maintaining law and order in Ravachol.
A very moralist answer.
The man nods.
The lieutenant is practiced in the art of putting on a show for one's superiors.
But what is a normal, stable world? Martinez doesn't seem very normal or stable to me. What is a normal, stable world?
The Occident is part of the normal world. Oranje, sur la clé.
Okay, that seems a bit... that could have some parallels to some real world talking points that I don't really like. Okay, but Martinez doesn't seem very normal or stable to me.
Martinez? No. Martinez is something else.
What about the rest of Revachol? Is it part of the normal world?
Revachol is generally difficult. It's led by an interim government, which means it hasn't yet achieved full democracy. But they are working towards it. You're all doing very well here, relatively speaking.
He gives you an approving nod. I don't think I'm a moralist. Moralism sounds incredibly boring. I want more action. Moralism is the ideology of foreign occupiers. Revachol must be governed by Revacholians. Democracy is a meaningless sham as long as the working class is under the boot heel of capital. It's like every time I'm talking to people, I'm choosing option D, none of the above. Is that moralism? let's just reinforce the route we've picked.
Of course, the detective's personal views do not represent the views of the RCM.
Ah, my friend. But the lesson of the revolution is that communism does not work.
It didn't work because the coalition crushed it violently. We just haven't tried real communism yet. And you're telling me this world here is working out well? 103 seems like a better option. I'm gonna pick 3.
It's moving towards the right direction, and that's all that matters. Progress is measured in centimeters, my friend. Now, enough of this delightful political interlude. Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Tell me about Sur Leclerc.
What's there to
Leclerc?
say? Sur-la-Clé is a modern, urbanized country that measures very high on the Human Development and Freedom Index. Mostly, though, it's known as the executive heart of EPIS. Moreover, it is a great sponsor of less emerged countries. Revachol is only one of its many darlings whose progress it supports and cherishes.
Darling, that can't be an official designation.
What makes Revachol Sur Leclerc's darling?
Because a great percentage of Revachol's culture hails from Sur-la-Clé. Its language, its people, its cuisine even. Or at least in the downtown La Delta area.
Jamrock and other parts of the international zone have been mercifully spared of Sur Leclerc's love for meatballs and mashed potatoes.
Tell me about Oranje.
Oranje is an exemplary nation who, as a core member of EPIS, contributes 28% of our annual budget. Next to Sur-la-Clé, Oranje is probably the most prominent member of the international community.
Which one of them is more EPIS? Okay, but outside of EPIS, what is Oranje?
Oranje's economy is one of the most advanced in the world. It has successfully transitioned from heavy industry to advanced services and generally acts as an engine for sustainable change in the international community.
But that didn't tell you anything about Oranje.
Can't you just talk like a normal person?
About what?
About Oranje. Just tell me what it's like there.
Oh, it's very urban and very well organized. Their streets are clean, their horse cars run on time, the people are polite and efficient. Like I said, they are an example for less emerged nations to follow.
Enough business. Let's talk about something else.
Whatever you wish, officer.
You actually witnessed the lynching? Or can you tell me about your friend? Let's ask about the friend first.
Ah, my friend. My friend is a good young man. His family immigrated here from Kedra, and life has not been easy for him. But he understands the importance of education. He has taken his future into his own hands, and that's all that matters.
What's Kedra?
Kedra is a candidate member of APIS. But, between you and me, their potential membership is a more contentious issue.
What do you mean?
That it's never going to happen. They entered negotiations in 21, and it's been pending ever since.
What is this EPIS thing you keep talking about? But that doesn't tell me anything about Kedra itself. Is it warm there, cold, something in between? Let's ask about that first.
EPIS is a very special program developed by the Moral Intern to support certain Occidental nations. It began as a unified system of weights and measures, which proved to be a wild success. Nothing but kilograms and centimeters as far as the eye can see.
God, yes. Sweet standardization. The backbone of rationality and commerce.
It was such a wild success that we expanded it into an economic union for the processing of steel. Another success. And between you and me, the Moral Intern feels emboldened by this success. Emboldened to take EPIS to the next level.
Okay, but like, what does it stand for?
Why, it stands for progress and stability, like the Moral Intern as a whole.
No, what do the letters stand for?
It's been such a wild, extraordinary success thus far. We are very excited to take it to the next level.
You don't even hear the words I'm saying, do you?
A supranational political alliance. The United States of Occident.
Is it going to be like this place here?
You mean Revachol? No, it's going to have transparent democracy.
Is Revachol going to be part of EPIS?
It's one day going to be a candidate member of EPIS, sure.
Except that candidate members never become full members, do they?
Didn't you say that candidate members never become real members?
No, candidate members do become members. Why do we even have the whole system in place if they don't? It just takes time. Time and evaluation. But we were talking about my friend here, not politics.
How did you two even become friends?
How did any of us become friends? Bad things happening on the Insulindian Isola? Oil platforms ablaze in the night? Civil wars lasting for years? Finally, the international community is forced to step in.
What are you talking about? No one becomes friends this way. You're describing how the coalition occupied Revachol.
One of the wonders of democracy is that everyone is allowed to have his own opinion. And not just allowed, encouraged even. Have you ever tried debate?
There's a joke here, and you know what it is.
What do you mean? Yeah, I'm what they'll call a master baiter. Brush some invisible dirt off your shoulder. Yeah, sure. Why not? This guy's so unserious in his, choice of what he says. Like, honestly, let's just be a bit silly too.
Oh, how wonderful. I've heard it's oodles of fun. Not that I have time to take up new hobbies myself.
The lieutenant lets out a long, nasal sigh.
You still haven't told me who he is.
Sorry. Who?
Your friend, the smoker on the balcony. We were just talking about him.
But I told you, officer. He's a bright young man here to pursue his education. Education is the foundation of our future, especially the arts.
Fine,
It is a
but,
cornerstone of our civilization.
fine, but what's his real name? So all you can tell me about him is that he's here to study the arts?
He's deeply enmeshed in the study of the fine arts, yes.
As though you weren't envious enough of the boy as is.
Which arts?
He's a truly free spirit. He likes all the arts. Perhaps graphic design, printmaking, who knows? The world is open wide for a talented youth like him.
What are you doing in his apartment by yourself?
I'm just enjoying the view.
The man smiles, nodding to the window. What view? It's dark outside.
Listen,
He says, raising his hand.
Baby is crying in the neighboring apartment.
Someone's baby is crying.
oh, listen.
He says again, looking outside.
The Insulindian Bay.
What about it?
This place used to be a luxury accommodation before the revolution. Apartments, of course, were much bigger then. A few walls have been added here and there, leaving some of the tenants without a private bathroom or a kitchen. But the million real view stays. You can't take that away.
He knocks on the balcony door, his face mirrored in the darkened glass. I was asking about your friend.
My friend comes and goes. I'm sure you've seen him around. He's a busy bee.
A busy bee? What an odd choice of words.
Okay, I had something else in
I'm
mind.
all ears, officer.
Hopefully, but I'm not really confident. He's gonna be a bit more concise when it comes to the lynching.
I'm
Please.
sorry to say I did, officer.
Let's turning to the lieutenant. This is just the break we've been looking for. Is it because you did it, Mr. Villedruin? Start from the beginning if you don't mind. Let's ask the lieutenant first.
Easy, detective. No need to jump to conclusions.
He eyes the spectacled man near the windows, who smiles and spreads his hands. Start from the beginning if you don't mind.
Officer, it's very difficult to describe what I saw that night. It was so surreal to me, like in a play.
So much for being concise.
He holds out his hands and blossoms his fingers, like a drama teacher setting the scene.
What do you mean, like in a play?
It was just so strange. I could barely comprehend what was happening. I was on the balcony when it happened, getting some fresh air. I remember that first they came in, carrying what looked like a body. And then I saw all the surrounding windows go dead, one by one. That's when I understood. I should not be seeing this.
Sounds like the victim was unconscious, or at least incapacitated. Well done, detective.
Who were they? Can you describe them? How many of them were there? How many of them were there?
I couldn't tell you exactly. Less than 10. Maybe 8?
The lieutenant sends you a sharp look at the mention of that number.
Were any of them huge? Like 200 kilograms huge?
That's a giant you're describing. No, they were all quite human, as far as I could tell.
What happened next?
I went back inside.
Were you able to see anything from inside?
Officer, the yard was pitch black. There was nothing to see, but I could still hear their voices. They were threatening to kill that poor man.